welcome to my channel. My name is Moruki Perry. Today I'll be showing you how to make samosas. It's one of my best dishes, best snacks, if I would say. And I hope you come along and enjoy as you cook, because in Moruki's kitchen, that is where cooking is always fun. So I'll start straight on by showing you the ingredients that we are going to be using today. So we have some minced beef, which I've already pre-cooked. We have leeks all diced down. We have coriander, so a big batch is quite good. It gives the meat quite some flavor. We're also going to be using our magic pot of ginger and garlic that we grind on a monthly basis, as I've told you earlier. So we'll need to use some oil. We'll be spicing our meat, or rather our filling for the samosas, with the following spices. So we have thyme, we have cumin, then we have black pepper, we have paprika, coriander, all of them ground, and then we have some nor cubes, which I'm going to be adding. We will need some salt, and a little bit of roiko in there. Now, because my husband and I like quite a lot of pepper, and we like our food spicy, I'm going to add some chilies into the samosa filling. Now, I will show you next what we're going to need for our pockets. So we're going to use plain flour, as you can see, for our filling, and then we're going to be using this oil to put in. We'll put a little bit of the oil in the dough as we're making it, so it will be nice and gooey. The other thing that we're going to be needing for our recipe is a little bit of water, which I'll get from the sink. So please do come along, call your friends if you need them to come and watch this with you, so that you can learn together, and let's cook these samosas with you. Now, to begin with, I will start by making the filling, and then once I'm done doing the filling, we'll start making the pockets. And I'll just start by first frying well, rather not onions but leeks in this pot. So this is a pot I'm going to be using because I need to make sure everything fits inside, and it's one of my biggest pots. So I'll just put in a little bit of oil because the meat is already pre-cooked. The only thing that we need to cook through is the leeks and the spices, so we don't need to put in too much oil. So I'll just put in a little bit of oil in the pot, and then I'll switch on our cooker. And I'm just going to add our leeks into the pot. So I really love onions and leeks, so I use plenty of them. You don't have to use as much as I used. So I just bought a pack of leeks, so three big ones, and I sliced them finely. That way they won't be too big, and they won't show up the meat. So the meat is beef mince. You can use any kind of mince that you like. You can even use chicken. So for the samosa fillings, you can use whatever you like. You can do vegetarian samosas. So for those ones, you do vegetables of your choice. So for me, I usually, when I'm doing vegetable samosas, I do peas, carrots. I also put in sometimes a little bit of potatoes, and then I put my selection of spices in it. So So just depending on what you really like as a vegetable, you can actually make your samosas with that. I'm just picking the dishcloth. So samosas have always been something that I think a lot of people eat in restaurants and even at home, but it's a nice thing to know how to make, because it's one of those snacks that you can make so quickly for your family, and it's just a nice way to entertain guests. It can be a starter, it can be a party food, you know, a finger food. So it's very versatile, I would say that. And samosas, I think, are an Indian dish as well, but have been adapted world over. Now, for me, who's from Kenya, this is something that is a product of our different cultures mingling, Indians mingling with the Swahili people, and now everyone in Kenya actually eats samosas. So I've eaten samosas made of all sorts of different ingredients. So I've eaten samosas filled with potatoes, I've eaten samosas filled with meat, I've eaten samosas filled with green grams. So if you've lived in the hood, you know there are all sorts of samosas. So the people who actually end up eating, probably, you know, the ones with meat, you have to have a little bit more money. Back in the day, so we had samosas of all kinds. Now, the reason I'm making samosas today is because I haven't made samosas for my husband for a while, and he really absolutely loves samosas. So I'm just doing this as a way of, you know, loving on him, because I know he loves samosas. Now, while the lids are cooking there, I'm going to add the minced beef into it. And then just stir a little bit. I'll turn the camera a little bit just to show you how that is going on, and you will see that the leeks have not overwhelmed my minced beef. It just gives it a I was making some chili con carne, so that's what I was switching off the heat for, and the other pot. I'll show you how to make chili the next time I'm making. I was catching up with a friend of mine, Emma. Hello. She's called Che. We were catching up earlier on, so I wasn't able to record this video for you guys, but I'll record it the next time I'm making chili, because we make chili in my house a lot. The next thing I'm going to be adding is the spices. So I love myself some paprika, and I'll add about a teaspoon of that. Oh, one more thing that I wanted to add is I love turmeric, so I'm just going to get turmeric from here before we forget it. So we have turmeric, half a teaspoon. So I know how to measure by eye, but if you're new to cooking, please do use the measurement that I'm talking about. Otherwise, you end up overspicing your food. So for ground cumin, I'll use a teaspoon as well, because the meat is plenty. Coriander, I'll use another teaspoon. Then for thyme, which I really love, I'll use a teaspoon as well. And for ground pepper, I'll use a teaspoon as well. And I will add our chilies, so as much as I think is enough for my husband and I. And then I'll just start through. Before I forget, I'm going to add some some of our ginger and garlic. So because it's already ground, it's quite easy to cook through with the rest of the meat. So I'm not worried about putting it in much later on. Normally I'll put it in after the leeks, but because it's well ground, then it's not gonna take long to cook. So that's just me stirring through so that all the ingredients will come together. I'll be adding a little bit of salt, not too much, because Royco and the Knorr cubes also have salt. And we do not want to over salt our food. Just going to reduce the heat there. So I'm just going to add one Knorr cube into, so these ones are chicken Knorr cubes. So sometimes I use the chicken ones or I use the lamb ones. It just depends on what I feel like on the day. And I'm sure you can find, so they're just stock cubes basically. So you can use whatever you fancy to add to your samosas. Add a little bit of paprika just to give it color. Our filling is almost ready. The last thing I'm going to put into it is the coriander. And just before I put in the coriander, I'll put in a little bit of Royco to spruce it up. So just a teaspoon will be enough as well of Royco, and you just stir it in. Oops, sorry. And that will be us done with the filling. Now just return my spices because I'm done with them now. So my spice rack is just next to my cooker. I'll show you in a tour of my kitchen later how my spice rack looks like. But obviously not today because there we go. So I've already washed the coriander leaves, so I'm just going to chop them up and add them to our minced beef that is already cooking, and that will be us done with the filling, and we can get on to make the samosa pork cakes. So if you're new here, please do subscribe down below. It's free of charge. Tell a friend about Monique's Kitchen, and please do come and enjoy cooking with me. Please send me your photos when you try out the meals that I've been showing you how to make. They're pretty easy, so you can use however much minced beef you really need, depending on your family size. So for me, because I always like to prepare stuff and put in the freezer for later on, so that I don't have to make. I mean, samosas are quite hectic to make, to be honest. Then, if you think about it, if you're making many, that is. So it's one of those things that you want to make in plenty and then keep some for later. So in my house, I make a big batch, and then that batch can be used, up to 2 or 3 days. And when I say 2 or 3 days, I mean we can use them this weekend, we can use them another weekend, and another weekend for our breakfast when we're at home. So I'm just going to add the coriander, and then I'll start through, and I'll turn the camera to show you how that looks like. And I want to give a shout out today to my friend Emma, who gave me some constructive feedback on my videos, and which I am applying today. So hopefully, she said I should have all my ingredients ready so that people can see and I don't have to keep on coming in and out, going in and out of the video. And I have tried that today, so hopefully it's better quality videography that you get to watch on this particular video, guys. So I will turn the camera just a little bit so that you can be able to see the end product, and there it is. So that's the filling ready, and what we're going to do is we're going to start making the dough. So I'll just leave it to cool. I'll show you, I'll just carry the pot a little bit up so you can see properly how that looks like. So that is the filling. It's all ready now. I will leave it there on the, I'll put it on the side to cool off, and then we'll start making the dough for our pockets. And I'll clear this actually. I'll clear this away so that they're not in our way as we make the dough. So guys, to make the dough, we need a bowl. We need plain flour. So for me, I measure by eye. But if you're not making that many samosas, 500 grams of flour would be enough for you to make pockets for samosas. So that's my old pack gone, and I'm just going to open this new pack of flour. I need scissors or a knife. I have a knife here, so I'm just going to use that. Alright guys, so I'm just going to add a little bit more flour. So about 12. So for me, I'm using 1200 grams. I can measure by eye because I'm so used to doing this. But I would say if you're going to use 500 grams of flour, you need at least a glass of water to mix your dough, and you will also need oil. So the things I add in my samosa dough are flour, oil, and a little bit of salt. So that's just to give it some taste. Some people don't put salt in their dough, so it's really up to them. Or rather, it's up to you. If health-wise you don't feel like you want to add the salt, please don't. Just customize the samosas for yourself, I would say, because that's what I really do. I customize things to myself. And so I'm going to add half a teaspoon. Actually, I put a teaspoon of salt thereabout. That's all I'm going to add. And then I would mix this. I think I had a fork. Yes, I did have a fork. I'm going to wash that and use it for so I'll just mix that up, and then I will use 2 tablespoons are enough if you're doing 500 grams. So as I told you, I measure most of my things by eye, so I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit and I'll know when it's enough. And then I mix it in the measuring jug. So I'm just going to get some water, and I'll just pour it in as I mix my dough. So not too much. before you start mixing, before you even pour the water, you make a well into the flour, and that way you just pour water and then you start mixing it in. I'll just add a little bit so I can have all the flour mixing with. So it looks like it's coming together, and now it's time for me to dig in with my hands. So I'm back with my towel, and I'm going to remove my rings so that we don't get them dirty. Alright. So that will be able to make us quite a number of pockets. I feel as though I'm going to need more pockets than this. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. If the pockets are not enough, I think I have some pockets that I froze in the fridge, so I'm just going to use those extra ones. I'll defrost them and use them. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. You can make pockets and freeze them, and you can use them much later when you're making samosas. So you cannot just freeze regular stuff, but also that. And I will pour just a little bit of oil to oil it on the top, and I will leave that to sit for a few minutes before we start making the pockets. So I'll cover that with a tea cloth. Once I'm done cleaning up, our dough will have rested for enough time, and we'll start making the pockets. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I'll be doing the samosa making process in 2 videos because I didn't want this one to be too long. So I'm going to leave the dough to rest, as I've told you before, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching us. So if you have, please do give us a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe, and tell a friend to come along and subscribe and watch and learn something new. Also, you can click on the notification bell so that you know when our videos are up, and just watch out for part 2. And thank you so much for watching and for coming along. Thank you. Bye bye. I love you guys.